With talks of an Apple car getting more and more attention, who ends up making it already has people speculating. According to Bloomberg opinion columnist Chris Bryant, one likely contender could be a Canadian manufacturer that's worth about $21 billion. Chris joins me now from Berlin. Chris, great to have you on Quick Take. What do we know about Apple's auto ambitions, and why do you think that they might work with a company like Magna?
Well, it's been several years now, hasn't it, that we've been talking about an Apple car. Will it happen? Will it not happen? A lot of excitement maybe around 2015, 2016, and then things went very quiet. And then just in the recent months, we've had some interesting reporting. First, Bloomberg reporting that there's been a change at the top of the unit, and then an interesting Reuters report just before Christmas that, in fact, an Apple car might be happening as soon as 2024, 2025. Which obviously would be supremely exciting. Now, what we do know about Apple is that historically it hasn't manufactured things itself. Apple obviously designs the operating system of its phones, but it gets Foxconn to manufacture the handset. And I would imagine that it'd take a very similar approach with cars. And if there's one company out there that could help Apple do this, then it's Magna. This Canadian company that is a contract manufacturer, meaning it already built cars for other car makers.
Who does Magna build cars for right now, for people who aren't familiar with the industry?
Right. So you might not be aware that the car you're driving wasn't in fact built directly by the car maker whose brand is on the front of it. For example, the Mercedes G-Class, that 4x4, famously sort of iconic vehicle, isn't actually built in a Mercedes-Benz factory. It's built in a Magna factory in Austria. Similarly, the BMW Z4 sports car, and the Jaguar I-Pace electric vehicle. That's very interesting, of course. So Magna not just capable of building combustion.
I don't have a G-Class Mercedes, I don't have a BMW, and I don't have the Jaguar electric vehicle at this point. Are these the high-end cars that Magna focuses on?
Well, I think in the past what's happened is that premium car makers who perhaps wanted to offer niche vehicles, perhaps low volume, got Magna to do this because it didn't make sense for them to retool their own production lines to cater to a relatively small volume vehicle. But Magna is expanding. It has a couple 100,000 vehicle capacity in Austria. It's recently added a new plant in China together with a joint venture partner there. And it's said if there's demand, meaning if new entrants in the industry or anybody else wants it to do so in North America, then it's very happy to look at that too.
So Chris, this all sort of flies in the face of what Tesla is doing. If we think about Tesla and the company, it's doing all its production in-house at mainly at a factory in Fremont, California right now, and increasingly in Asia at its Shanghai factory. What lessons can we learn from what Tesla is doing, and why Apple would not want to take that approach?
Well, that's right, and Elon Musk, if he was sitting in my seat right now, would tell you it's very, very important to manufacture your own vehicles. And doing so immensely complicated, but gives you a greater understanding of how the vehicle performs and enables you to design the vehicle to be much more sort of high performance or whatever. The thing with Tesla, though, is if there's any lesson to be drawn from its experience over the last decade or so, is that, as I said, manufacturing is incredibly tough. And Musk would be the first to admit that he went through absolute hell in trying to get his vehicles out the door. Things are going now a lot better, we understand. Nevertheless, for new entrants coming into the industry who don't have the expertise, it would be crazy to sort of try to copy what Musk has done to some extent. And many would prefer to take a much more simplistic approach. Now, Fisker Inc., Henrik Fisker's latest car venture, is saying, look, we're going to take the Apple Foxconn approach. We're going to outsource the manufacturing to Magna, or we're going to outsource the engineering to Magna. We're going to focus on our brand and marketing, things like that, obviously, and some software too. But the really complicated metal bashing and the actual producing of the cars, Magna is going to take care of that for us. And we can therefore guarantee that things should go a bit smoother than it did with Tesla.
So how does Apple, if they end up going ahead with vehicle design and production and outsourcing it. How does the company end up differentiating itself from everything that's out there already? I mean, if we think about Apple, one thing the company doesn't do is it's not first to market. It didn't come out with the first smartwatch. It didn't come out with the first smartphone, and it didn't come out with the first tablet. But I think a lot of consumers would agree that it came out with the best versions of those products. How does it do that to the car?
Well, it's a very difficult question, but I think the fact that it's taken so long about this speaks to the complexity of the task ahead. The fact that a car is not a mobile phone handset, much more complicated than that. And whilst Apple obviously has got very deep resources, the fact that it's taken 5 years about suggests that it doesn't itself entirely know which direction to go down. Now, what it has done in recent years, and I think our reporting, Bloomberg reporters have shown this, that they focus very much on the autonomous driving aspect of this. And so that's clearly going to be at the heart of the vehicle. One would expect, if it's an Apple car, the software, the operating system, for that to be the heart of the brand. But nevertheless, if you're going into actually manufacturing a vehicle, then it needs to be competitive with the very attractive premium offerings that we have, from BMW or Mercedes, and also, of course, Tesla.
Chris Bryant, Bloomberg opinion columnist. Chris, thanks for your time. Chris joins us from Berlin.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.